Recording. Okay, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wide 80 podcast. I got some cool dudes here. We're going to talk about sports, gambling responsibly, and fantasy. I guess to my left on my screen, I have the 2023 fantasy baseball champion. It's Mr. Chandler. And underneath me needs no introduction. You might have seen him on TikTok golfing. You might know him as Short Stuff, but we know him as Colby. Welcome, and I'm Brandon. Welcome to the podcast.
Going
So
on?
What's
we're
up,
here.
guys?
We're here. This is something. This is a brain baby that we've been working on for a good amount of time. It started as just a conversation, but now we are here putting it into action, and we are going to talk about some popular stuff, some poppin' stuff. We're going to talk about some hot takes. We're going to talk fantasy baseball and fantasy sports in general because that's what we do. We're going to talk about some gambling because that's what we do. That's what I do. And let's without further ado get right into it. I want to talk about coming off of the conference championship games. We did a practice podcast that didn't see the light of day, but we kind of knew where each other sat with what we thought was going to happen. I just want to say both my bets hit. I want to talk about that.
And there's a reason I don't bet.
No, you would have won your bet.
Well,
You chose Chiefs. Was it +4? Chiefs +4, and they won the game. So you win, right? Um, I want to start off by saying a part of the Kansas City Chiefs that isn't respected is the defense. Holy hell. Can we take a look at what they have done in the playoffs so far? I get that it was in Kansas City, but they held the Dolphins to single digits, right? They were the deciding factor for Buffalo, right? And then, rather if you agree with Baltimore's game plan or not, held that team in check, held Lamar in check. Um, whichever one of you guys want to piggyback off that. Is there anything from that game in particular that you take away?
Which one, the KC and Baltimore game?
That's the one I was talking about.
So I mean, obviously, I see Kansas City, like you said, the defense just came out and just balled out because Baltimore was what scoring over 30 points past what 2 or 3 games,
Yep.
right? So like for them to come out and ball out and do that to a Baltimore team that's done that is kind of speaking volumes, and they're just being like a little sneaky defense in the playoffs, which no one saw that coming.
It's
Um,
legit.
One thing that I did see, like I watched the game a little bit. I noticed. What would you say is Baltimore's strength as far as offense goes, aside from Lamar Jackson? Like, what
Oh,
is their
oh,
main focus?
that's really the only thing I got. That's it.
Wait, what Lamar
I was
Jackson?
like, that's the
Well,
only thing I got.
aren't they a run heavy team?
very run heavy team.
Okay, but I think I saw how many
Didn't the running backs get like 6 carries or something like that?
you had 3 carries from Gus Edwards, 2 from Zay Flowers, and 3 from Justice Hill.
That's 6 to the running backs. That's
Yeah, and then
6
8
carries
to
per running
Lamar.
back.
So, like, what was the game plan there? I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I didn't watch most of the game. I watched some of it, but it seems like they kind of got off of their game plan or what usually wins them games and just kind of left it all Lamar to kind of do his magic. Maybe
And
that was the wrong thing to do.
not
And he
only
was
that, and I watched the game in entirety, they did not get creative with Lamar enough. I think
Yeah,
I saw a couple design runs, but he was in the pocket for all of these clutch situations. I say it all the time about Lamar Jackson. Bro, you're faster than everybody on the field. Just why are we
yup.
making it complicated? Why is he back there like Brady, a statue in the pocket? But it's like just run that way. I don't know. Like I just felt like you have this once in a generation player, right? And you are making him. I understand your quarterback needs to play quarterback. I get it. Trust me, I get it. But I feel like you really just took away what he does. I don't care if you score or get down the field running, passing, walking, I don't care. As long as you get the ball down the field. And to Colby's point, they do that by smacking you in the mouth with Gus Edwards. They're going to do tricky end arounds with Zay Flowers, who's, 5'3", and he just hides behind the line. And then you run with Lamar Jackson, or at least get him out of the pocket, get him running to where you have the defense moving from sideline to sideline. But I just felt I didn't understand the game plan, just having Lamar stand there in the pocket and, try to make these concept routes work. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, I'm with both of y'all. I think that there are more clips out there of Lamar missing an open lane than there are of him hitting them. Colby, I'm glad you brought up the rush attack, man, because something that caught me off guard, 8 carries, 54 yards for a 6.8 average was Lamar's rushing. Those were all team leads. He led the entire team with all 3 of those stats. And then Brandon, I'm glad you brought up the secondary, man. That's what I wanted to highlight from this game, or the defense, because I wanted to highlight one particular player and then the entire freaking secondary of the Kansas City Chiefs, holding Lamar Jackson to just a 54% pass completion. Absolutely unreal. Sure, Zay Flowers got his 115 in his touchdown, but that's not what it is, And then Drew Tranquill, my guy went 8 for 8 tackles for solo tackles. Every single thing that he was involved in, he was a one-man wrecking crew. Unbelievable effort from the Kansas City secondary. I mean, and you got Kelsey, you got Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes on tape saying that they've never had a defense like this during any of their runs. It hasn't existed. And so I find it hard to bet against this team right now. Let alone, I'll even pull to the offensive side of the ball. Pat Mahomes 30 for 39 against this Ravens defense, 77% completion, which is the bar, by the way. 77% is the minimum that you need for a perfect passer rating. He didn't reach that. He didn't meet the other stipulations, but you got to have that 77%. And then Travis Kelce, perfect. Absolutely perfect. 11 on 11 targets for receptions. Never dropped anything.
And I don't want to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
Watching Travis Kelce, I mean, I understand it's not popular to like him right now, given the storyline that he is involved in.
It's just T Swift.
But holy, the catches that he was making, these improvised running the wrong route and then diving on 3rd and 5 and getting it's something else. And I want to talk about this, which is super cool. So I guess this is a hot take question. I want to get everybody's opinion. If Pat Mahomes is to win his 3rd championship, is he solidified as number 2 behind Tom Brady?
I could give you 2. I'm not going to go back to the 80s and 70s before we got to this modern game.
Because I got the numbers.
To drag those guys in here.
I'd have to go back on the numbers.
I got the numbers. If we want to talk about it, I got the numbers, okay?
Well, yeah, I'm just saying off the cuff, I give him 2. I think he takes 1. If he wins this one and then he goes to another team and wins another one, we can start talking about him being number 1.
Okay,
but so I can give you 2 after this one.
Oh yeah, I just want to kind of comment on what Pat Mahomes has been able to do in the playoffs, because in the quarterback position, how you perform in the playoffs is probably the most important thing, right? So Pat Mahomes has now appeared and started in 17 playoff games. In those 17 playoff games, he has only thrown 7 interceptions to 39 touchdowns. Joe Montana, who is the consensus number 2, has played in 23 playoff games with 21 interceptions. Okay. So, I mean, we can say one thing. Pat Mahomes, he plays his best ball when it matters. And that is, I'll take that over any regular season accolade any day. I've always said, this is with my basketball, this is with my football. I don't care what we do as long as we make the playoffs. What happens after that, it's a brand new ball game. I don't care if we're speaking with football, I don't care if you're the last wild card spot. I don't care what you did in the regular season. I saw Kansas City. I myself said, if my team, Houston, if Houston gets matched up with Kansas City, I'm not worried about it. They struggled all regular season. But you see how that switch flips And then we're playing a different ball game with Kansas City when it comes to the playoffs. They show up, and that Baltimore crumbled on itself. Let's be honest. The penalties, Baltimore played like a road team. Kansas City showed up, and we could talk about the pregame beef with Justin Tucker. I know we've all seen that. But the Kansas City showed up, and they showed up professional, mistake-free, some veterans.
They
Got it
played damn
done.
good football.
It was just such a clean
there's
win.
no way around that.
And we talked about a touchdown was wiped off the board. A Rashid Rice touchdown was wiped off the board on a questionable holding call. I'm not saying I agree or I disagree. It was questionable.
Yeah,
so
let's not get fined now.
that game could have gotten a lot uglier than it was. For sure.
Yeah. Points off for me.
But okay, so now the next
I
game.
I do think that sorry, I don't mean to cut you off.
There you go.
Like this is just my opinion, obviously. I do think as a whole, like Baltimore as a team is better than the Kansas City Chiefs. But when they get into that playoff picture and they get up against people who have been there before, like Pat, and like you say, is the consensus number 2 opinionated, statement, you have to play above that. And that was maybe asking too much of Lamar Jackson to do that against somebody like Pat Mahomes.
And
to give him all of the responsibility and not play that team ball that they should have played. You know what I mean?
And I think it clearly showed. And to respond to that, Baltimore, and I think I put this in the group chat, Zay Flowers is 5'0". He cannot be your just guy you're throwing to every single time. And then Mark Andrews being hurt killed him. I mean, he didn't play. He played barely any percentage of the snaps. I think Baltimore has no offensive weapons besides 5' Zay Flowers and Lamar Jackson. They needed a healthy Mark Andrews and give me a Mike Evans. Give me something in Baltimore, a big body receiver that's not your tight end, and you're not doing little bubble screens and trying to get Lil Zay Flowers open down the field. He's fast as shit. We know that.
But he ain't Cheetah.
He's not. I mean, one can say
Tyreek
he's a
has all
miniature
the
version.
success in the world. Yeah,
One can say he's in of that realm. Baltimore needs something else, and it showed. I would love to have seen a 100% healthy Mark Andrews. I'll just say that.
Give me $5 on AJ Brown going to the Ravens this offseason.
Bam. That's what they need. That's what they need. Super Bowl contenders. I'm not even talking about it. Yeah. That's crazy.
No, I agree with both of y'all, but like what I thought I was watching was like, and I'm sure we've all been in this position, and everybody that might be listening probably been in this position as well. But like what that Baltimore game looked like, what Lamar Jackson looked like on offense was like his boss told him to do something that he knew was wrong, but he had to do it anyway. Like, why let the fucking kid play? And I say kid because he's younger than me at this point in time, but like let him play ball. He is undoubtedly the best athlete in the NFL. Let him do what he does. Let him play like he played at Louisville. Let him play like he played all season, leading up to this playoff game.
And I think, in my opinion, that game is when the gloves come off.
Absolutely.
Like, where we
show me some shit I haven't seen before.
Like, there's a game. I understand you have a game plan. I understand we all go into any aspect of our life where we have to perform, whether it's sports, work, whatever. We have an idea of what we want to do. But then it gets to the point, how are we going to get it done? I saw 0 adjustments from Baltimore. 0 offensive adjustments. They tried these rinky-dink throws, and then downfield, everything's covered because they're doubling Zay Flowers. And Odell Beckham is, he's an older Odell Beckham. He showed up later in the game, but they just didn't have. And then you have Nelson Aguilar. Like, he's known for not having hands.
Man, so when they zoomed out on that sky view from the quarterback's perspective, blankets in the secondary.
That secondary, to your point, was amazing. And I don't want to. I hate getting in these situations and then talk about what a team doesn't have because they got so far without it. But one player can really change the outcome of these games where you had so much success all season, and then you find yourself saying, man, we really could use a Mike Evans, a AJ Brown, Calvin Ridley, or something like that, right?
They'd be stupid to not go for somebody like that.
Because I mean, I like the idea of the Odell move at the time, but in Zay Flowers, it's going to be him for a long time. Zay Flowers is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver for the rest of his career. I think he's going to be very, very good. But
not that outside of that.
To Chandler's point, you're not Cheetah, you're not Tyreek Hill, where you can just be wide open or catch it in space and just make everybody miss. They need another option. All the targets cannot go to him. And like I said, I hate that Mark Andrews wasn't 100% healthy because he is a top 3 tight end, you know.
They still didn't look like the same team that beat the Texans a week ago. Or a week
Hell
before.
no.
Well,
they didn't look like the same team.
I think the Texans found themselves in a situation where, you know, when you get like promoted to a job and you really don't know what you're doing in the first place, I think that's kind of what the Texans.
Yeah.
They're just
experience.
like, we're here.
It's experience, absolutely.
That's not something we have written down, but I can literally go on a rant about the Texans and how we pulled something. I don't want to say we. That's sports bad sports marketing 101. Never say we. But what the Texans did is just something else. Look at that roster on paper preseason.
That was fun to watch.
Everyone would have laughed at us.
It was fun.
Yep.
That receiving core was preseason. Looking at that receiving core, one of the worst in the league. Then
I don't know if I told you, Brandon, but I for sure told Colby Nico's a 1,000-yard receiver this season.
I believed it.
Money.
Colby can attest the amount of times I've tried to get Nico Collins off his team in the early stages of the season. But yeah, that team would have been laughable on paper, and the fact that they went that far, amazing. Can't wait to see next year. And there we go again. The Texans they're retaining all their coaches. So, because I know
Bobby's sticking around.
Offensive coordinator was getting interviewed by
Johnson's
everybody. Yep, quarterback coach is staying. That's crazy. So let's talk about the other game, right? Let's talk about Detroit.
The better game.
Detroit, San Francisco. I shouldn't have said anything. At halftime, I was texting y'all. At halftime, I was texting you guys, and I was saying, Lions Super Bowl's crazy, man.
Yeah, you jinxed it. It's your fault.
It's my fault. I talk way too. Hey, I had him 7.5, so I'm still up. But I'd be lying if I say I wasn't really rooting for them. And Chandler, man. Chandler and Colby both called some crazy. Colby said multiple touchdown game from McCaffrey. Correct. And Chandler said that coach is going to make some dumb decisions and they're going to lose. And he did. So, and then I guess I was the one that chose the betting line. So we all three contributed to this outcome in one way or another.
Vegas, baby. Come on.
That's all I'm saying, man. Baby. So I that's why I love doing this, because we all kind of contributed a piece and it all worked out. So I don't really have much to say. It's just San Francisco is just an overdose of talent.
Brandon, I just realized you're wearing a Love KC hat, man.
Yeah, it's the Monarchs. I realized that Kansas City. Yeah, it's the old Kansas City Monarchs.
Love that. That's awesome.
Baseball. Look, see?
Yeah. Just so fitting that the team.
The only thing I have to say about the Detroit game is I did notice that there were a lot of drop balls from receivers. Getting passes from Jared Goff. I think that maybe a few of them went their way, it may have been a different game. But I did notice that it's like, dude, what happened to y'all's hands? Like they were all there before, and then all of a sudden no one was catching a ball. And I don't know if maybe it was Goff's fault not putting it like right here, but I feel like there were a bunch of passes that they should have caught, and maybe we would have had a different outlook on the game or a different outcome. But I think that's a note.
It's one of those things where at halftime you kind of had the feeling. It's not that you basically saw it coming, but at halftime you kind of had the thought of, if San Francisco kind of turns it on, this could be a long night. And you just talk about that offense, man. Can we, and I don't want to take anything away from Brock Purdy. He struggled in parts of the first half, but that offense, Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, one of my favorite guys, Brandon Ayuk, George Kittle. Like that team, that offense, you
don't
stack
leave my
that
guy
up.
Juice check out.
Don't
leave him out.
The best fullback in the game.
Absolutely.
Man, say what you want about Brock Purdy, but if your job is to, I'm never going to blame a guy for having talent around him. Like what? So you're upset at him because the GM did a good job? Like, are you kidding me? I hate that
He still has to
conversation.
execute.
Yeah, like
He still has to execute.
we've seen guys, game managers in the past, never make it to where they need to go. But he's in the Super Bowl. Um, what do we think, and what are your thoughts initially, Chandler, about this game?
So something that stuck out to me, Lions side, Jared Goff, no interceptions. 0 interceptions. So
He's
drop
been here
balls.
before. People forget Jared Goff
Yep.
is a Super Bowl quarterback. He didn't
Yep.
win, but he's a Super Bowl quarterback.
But drop balls or not, nothing was tipped up. No, and that's what I expected. I expected a pick 6 maybe from San Fran, but from a tip ball, not from a Jared Goff error. David Montgomery is still the guy. Like, I don't care about Jahmyr Gibbs because that man, 1593, 1 touchdown.
I got a question. I got a question real quick. Is Gibbs Montgomery the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, running back wise?
Hand over fist.
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Continue.
Absolutely. And I something none of us expected coming into the season was the overutilization of Montgomery versus Gibbs.
Like, yes, I agree.
Granted, in this game it was 15-12 on carries, but it was 93-45 on yards. And that's just like Chicago is probably feeling stupid because they don't have him anymore. Sam Laporta,
6.2 average. Yeah.
Yep. Sam Laporta, a beast.
Yep.
Without a doubt.
Yep.
And then I also just want to point out, like, if Sam Laporta did that to San Fran, everybody keep an eye on Travis Kelce because that's not getting worse, right?
By the way, I think it's also worth pointing out Travis Kelce is now the all-time playoff receptions leader.
That's right. Yeah, deservedly so.
Just past Jerry
Absolutely.
Rice.
Yeah. Aiden Hutchinson, and here's the thing:
a beast.
He's a beast. 0 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 QB hits, 2 passes defense.
What are you
saying?
How
do we value that?
What are you saying?
How do we value that?
I think San Fran had a game plan. We're gonna not let this guy touch our quarterback.
You think a game plan could be it though, right? Yeah, I'm sure everybody that comes.
Do you watch ball?
No,
do you know ball?
I'm saying everybody comes with a game plan against somebody like Aiden Hutchinson, right? I'm not saying San Francisco could be the only team to figure it out, but something was lacking there. 0 tackles, not even a half tackle, not even involved in a tackle.
Even a half tackle.
Like he wasn't even there.
Like he might as well have not been on the field. He had 2 pass defense. That's it. 2.
I'm not saying there's no validity to what you're saying. I'm saying that I think San Francisco had a game plan. We're going to let everybody beat us, just not this guy. And I think it worked out in their favor. That's what I'm saying.
No, I mean, that's what we're doing this
because he's a legit game record in how young he is.
Absolutely.
A legit
for the
game
19
record.
Games he played up to this point. Absolutely.
Yep.
Where was he this game? I have no idea. But and
Trent Williams.
Yeah, I get it.
Would it be funny if Trent Williams just followed him?
So the first thing that I thought of with 2 pass defense is where's the JJ Watt move on the just grab it and go?
Why didn't you just pick it and run it back for a touchdown? Stupid.
That's what I'm saying, man. What, are you not playing Cincinnati or something? Something else that stuck out is Brandon Ayuk. Obviously, we're all high on him, but 3 catches on 11 targets. I don't know if that was a Purdy thing. I don't know if that was a defensive thing. He still got his touchdown. He still had a long of 51. He's still the playmaker. I'm still betting on him in the Super Bowl. But I expected the 11 targets to go to Debo instead of Ayuk. Normally like 11-6 split. Debo.
At this point, I think Ayuk is
he's the guy.
He's the number 1 receiver.
Yep.
In San Fran.
Yep.
Yeah,
and then Fred Warner had 19% of the team tackles. That stood out to me as well. By himself. Pretty unreal.
Well, he's probably the best.
Oh, without it, yeah.
Probably the best. Yeah.
We could probably argue about it, but
he
was as hell better than Aiden Hutchinson.
There you go. Fact. Hey. Yeah, I don't really have much else to say. Let's get into, so we have the Super Bowl, right? We have the Super Bowl.
We got predictions.
I'll let you guys take it away. Colby, what do you think? Super Bowl, the Chiefs versus the Niners. Don't hesitate. Just let it go. What we got?
24-21 Niners.
Oh, wow. 24
20.
21 Niners?
24-21 Niners.
24 21 Niners. Okay. And your reason for that is just feeling
Niners.
it's like
Niners
just
are. Niners are just. I think that's just the best team in the NFL. Team, and
Okay.
I'm not saying that Pat Mahomes is not gonna do what Pat Mahomes does. I just think at times the Niners are going to be too much. I think the offense. I think the Niners offense is better than the Baltimore offense. That's just my opinion. I think
oh
there's too
yeah.
much here, too
Easily.
much there, McCaffrey, and I just think they're going to outpace. They're going to outpace the Chiefs. It's going to be a really good game. I think it's going to be back and forth, but I do think the Niners are going to edge them out, and I think it'll be decided in the last 3 minutes.
Hey,
Let's talk about it. I
yeah,
love
can
it.
I follow that up? Because
Go, go, go,
I
go.
think it's a Chiefs 27, Niners 24. And I think it's a Harrison Butker field goal in overtime.
Damn. All right.
See, I feel like these aren't necessarily predictions, but it's what we want to see,
No, I
right?
don't want that to happen at all. No.
I hated saying that.
I don't want Kansas City to win. I do think they're going to win. I think that at this point, there is no stopping Mahomes and Kelsey next game. It's
Yeah.
just not happening.
Um, to give my 2 cents, I'm more on Colby. I think you're the lone wolf going with San Fran. I like the
All
Chiefs.
right.
I think the defense is good enough. I'm not saying it's going to be a defensive ball game. I'm not saying I think the Chiefs will get the amount of stops that they need because that defense, that pass rush, it's a lot, and I do agree with Colby. I do think that the Niners overall, they are the best team in the NFL. Just defense, offense, if you put it out on paper. But like I said with my Detroit pick last practice pod, right? On paper just isn't always the way to make a decision, right? Like there's just some things that we can't really there's a oomph, right?
And his name is Harrison Butker.
His name is Noah
Absolutely.
Gray. No, I'm going Chiefs. I think as simple as I'm making this, I like Pat Mahomes better than Brock Purdy. I think I think Brock Purdy's more I think Brock Purdy's going to make one too many mistakes. I'm not saying he's going to throw a boatload of picks, but I think there's going to be one missed throw, one too many missed throws, one too many mistakes. And I think Pat Mahomes is going to continue to protect the football like he's done his whole playoff career. And I do see it. For some reason, I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around it being a big scoreathon, like just touchdown after touchdown. I have a hard time really wrapping my head around that for some reason. So I'll do the like a 27-24 Chiefs kind of,
Way to
that's where
copy
I'm
me,
going.
man.
Chiefs, and it's worth noting, Chiefs are a 2-point underdog. +2,
Mm-hmm.
the Chiefs are.
Mm-hmm.
What's the over under at? Let me check that out. Over under 47.5 is the over under for total points. Um, kind of like the under on that one for some reason. I mean, maybe I'm wrong because I chose the over for
Yeah,
the
I've got
first one.
51. So
There you go. Take the over, man. Okay,
yeah.
so we want to do something fun. We want to do something fun, right? We are each going to contribute to a Super Bowl parlay. And if we don't hit, Chandler's got to shave his head.
It wouldn't be the first time. It's okay.
No.
Yeah, it'll be fine.
Let's go. Chandler, I want to start with you. What kind of legs are you thinking for this parlay? I know you got some
Yep.
dumb
Yep.
shit just
Yep.
waiting.
Yeah, for first time listeners, and I guess that's everybody because this is the first time we've done this. There is no reason to have reason. So I had some
Yo, can
wild
we
bets.
get that on a t-shirt? There's no
Yeah.
reason to have reason.
I've got some wild bets, and I had to dumb it down because it's hard to find parlays with how out of control I can get, right? So I was looking for CMC one passing touchdown or a Kyle Juszczyk touchdown. Really, in my mind, I think CMC is going to pass a touchdown to Kyle Juszczyk. I
So
really
you
think
want to
that's going
go
to happen.
use check anytime scorer.
No. But that's no. I wanted it CMC pass to
Okay, so
Juszczyk.
this is
Yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, my point exactly. There's no reason to have reason with this. And then Travis Kelce, 3 touchdowns.
Oh
Right.
my
So
God.
so 3. Yeah. So my legs, we got for plus 1,000 odds. Pat Mahomes, 3 passing touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns, and a KC win, plus 2.5. For a plus 625 odds, we got Brock Purdy over 255 passing yards, Debo Samuel 6+ receptions, and Brandon Ayuk over 70 reception yards. And I think both of those are super possible at 24-21. I'm sorry, 27-24 going into overtime. Because don't forget, this game's tied at the end of 4th.
He said, "Don't forget, it's
Don't
tied."
forget.
I'm like, how did you even find these? How did you find?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
You
did
tell
you
me
go to
look,
the?
I'm looking.
Did you go to the plus 1,000 and plus 2,000 odds?
I went to the 1,000. I wasn't gonna push 2,000 this time. Maybe next week.
Okay, let me see. Let me see where they're actually at. That is so funny. So what? So what is the Pat Mahomes?
Pat Mahomes, 3 passing touchdowns.
Okay.
Travis Kelce, 2 touchdowns, and KC win at plus 2.5. I'll send you my notes.
Dude, what the hell?
Tell me
Okay.
that's not happening. Tell me that's
Okay.
not happening.
So you're talking about Pat Mahomes to have 300 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, and KC to win.
No, just 3 touchdowns.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know seeing that one.
Pat Mahomes, no yards. It's a plus 1,000.
Oh, it's
kinda
plus 1,000. Got you.
Yeah.
Plus 1,000.
Three passing touchdowns. Travis
I got
Kelce,
it.
2+ touchdowns, and KC win.
Pat Mahomes, 3
3.
touchdowns. It's Pat Mahomes, 3 touchdowns. Travis Kelce, 2+ touchdowns, and KC to win.
Yep. That's
But
happening.
it's 3 plus. Okay, so 3. You still hit if he throws 3.
Yeah.
Okay, got you.
Yep.
All right, I'm clicking on it. That's
So
crazy.
you did 3 legs?
Hold on.
No, that's one leg.
He might need to be his own parlay.
That's one leg.
He might need to be his own parlay.
No, I'm telling you, this is making it. Both of these are
which one are you contributing to the 6 leg that we're doing?
Hold
That's
on,
all
first,
one.
real quick, let me make sure that I can actually add this craziness to the parlay. Give me a second. All right, Colby, tell me what you got.
I got CMC at least 92 yards.
Rushing?
Rushing yard, yeah,
Okay.
rushing. And I have at least 1 touchdown for George Kittle.
Ooh, the anytime
like
scorer. I like it.
And I had Debo anytime TD too, but I didn't. I thought it was going to be 2, 2, and 2. You know what I mean?
Okay, so I'm adding Christian McCaffrey 92, and then who do you got for the touchdown?
Kittle and Debo.
Kittle and Debo. Okay.
Yep.
This is juicy right now.
I think it's like either rushing or receiving.
Yeah, it's rushing or receiving. Yep.
Yeah, so like I think Debo might get in on an end around or something like that.
So when CMC passes,
Oh my God, I'm so sick of this dude.
You can't be, man. This is episode 1 of 475, so you're gonna have to get over it.
That is wild. Okay, hold on. I'm going to yours. Okay.
We're just building this parlay up, son.
Oh my God, I can add it. Holy shit.
Yeah, you can. It's a 1-line bet, man.
And you have another one too?
Yep, for 625 odds.
625. What we got?
Brock Purdy, 255 passing yards.
I see it.
Debo Samuel, 6 receptions.
McCaffrey, 100 yards?
No McCaffrey.
Okay, I see it. Okay, I got you.
Debo, 6 receptions. Brandon Ayuk, 70 yards.
Okay. This is insane.
They're both happening.
Right,
I can't even tell you the level of confidence that I have. Like, after looking at their stats from last game, I think both of last week's matchups.
Okay, hold on. Okay, so it says pre-built multis cannot be combined with other selections. It's not even letting you be great.
Chalk it up to a first-time user experience.
It's not letting you be great. I'll tell you what, we'll just put racks on both of your bets.
Let's make it happen. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll put $1 down, dude. You get 1,000 back. Let's make it.
Okay, so here we go. So I'm gonna combine mine with Colby's, and then we'll talk about yours in therapy.
Yeah. Off the air. Yeah.
So I'm going. This didn't hit for me. Oh, they upped it. Oh my God. No, they didn't. Okay, so this didn't hit for me last game, but I'm thinking it hits again. I'm going Pat Mahomes over 1.5 passing touchdowns. I think that's a lot.
Yes.
And then I'm going to go for the receiving yards. Okay. Receiving yards. I think Travis Kelce over 73.5 is another lock.
That's a good
So if we just do me and Colby's odds, it's at plus 2,300. So 50 wins you $1,200.
Like it.
So that is Christian McCaffrey over 92 rushing yards, Kittle and Debo scoring touchdowns, Mahomes over 1.5 touchdowns, Kelce over 73.5 receiving yards. 50 wins you 1,200.
So can I say that I'm a little nervous on the Kelce leg? Because I know I'm outreaching, but do y'all remember his 3 touchdown game back in the season, in the middle of the season last year?
Yes, I think
Yeah,
I was playing the. I think I was playing the guy that did that.
He had like 35 yards with those 3 touchdowns because they were all gold line. I think that's what's happening. So that's the only one I'm a little hesitant
You taking the
on.
under?
I would take the under.
That's
I
crazy.
really think he's gonna have like a 3 touchdown, 45-yard game.
What are the odds of anytime touchdown for Kittle? How good's that one? That's crazy. Dude's going. He's going to score 9 touchdowns, but only have 9 yards.
Hey, it's the opposite of what was that, Jerry Rice? No, Randy Moss, right? Who went like 3 for 268 or some shit.
Hold on. Where's
And
there
3 touchdowns.
Kelsey's minus 114 for a touchdown. That's actually not too bad. Okay. So yeah, so that's the parlay. So I do want to highlight the 2 different parlays. So me and Colby putting together our 5, and then Chandler's just in another stratosphere with his. But I do want you to repeat. I do want you to repeat your 2, so we have, just so the fans can. I don't want to just step over it, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So
you're
you
good.
got
You're good.
Brock Purdy, 255, Debo Samuels, 6 plus, Brandon Ayuk, 70 plus. You know what? He might be onto something. Hold on. That looks, just reading that back, that looks really good. Over 70 for Ayuk.
His long was 51 last game.
6 plus.
He only had 3 receptions last game.
Okay.
But he still went. Hold on, I gotta find Ayuk again. He still went 22.7 average. So 3 receptions, 22, just over 66. He's pushing 70, right? So he's right on the money.
And then
that was on 11 targets. So catch one more ball, my guy. Catch one more ball.
And then your other big parlay is Pat Mahomes, 3 plus touchdowns, Kelce, 2 plus touchdowns, and Casey to win +2.
Yep.
That's at 1,025 odds for that one.
Oh, it went up. It went up since I looked at it.
It's at 1,025 right now.
That's fantastic. Y'all wanna do Super Bowls, like way too early Super Bowls for next year?
I'm down.
Since we're talking about the Super Bowl.
I'm down.
Right. And then I've got a winners of the losers, because I think San Fran's losing this Super Bowl, right? I think KC's taking it away. But I think Brock Purdy performs well enough to get himself a contract. I think he gets locked down.
Oh yeah,
in that organization.
Brock Purdy would really have to get exposed. Like, he would have to come out and really shit the bed, for lack of a better term. Because
I'm talking like a top 5 quarterback, like, contract.
Oh yeah,
like,
we've seen, like, Alex Smith got paid. I mean, at that time.
That's a fantastic example.
Yeah, I mean,
that's an excellent example.
That's how I always compare Purdy. He's Alex Smith, and Alex Smith. You can't tell me anything about Alex Smith.
45 minutes to say that, man.
You can't tell me anything about Alex Smith. Like, that dude was a pro, right? He's gonna get paid. So okay, you want to introduce this segment way too early next year's Super Bowl predictions. What do you got?
Yeah, I got Green Bay at Houston.
I hate this dude. I wanted to jump out my window.
Don't do that.
Like, just
don't do that.
Right there.
I really do. And I think, here's the thing. I think the Lions lose the conference game again.
Back-to-back conference losses.
I think they do.
I don't think Colby was ready for this. But Colby, who you got next year's Super Bowl?
Yeah, 2025 Super Bowl for the 24 season.
Colby's like, there's going to be a new team, expansion.
Yeah, 33 teams now. It's odd. Just KC makes it automatically. So, it's odd now.
For some reason, I think
Well,
that
there's no
Baltimore.
reason right now. There's no reason. This is just
I'm
right
just
here.
not. I
Right
mean,
here. It's in
I
your
just
heart.
I mean, I want to say Texans, but I don't know how we would get there. I know
By
how we
winning more games than we
by
lost.
winning and stuff, but I as a whole, like I really have to see what goes down. As far as from what I'm seeing from everybody else right now, I still think Baltimore is a badass team, and I think they should have beat KC. So I think they should have beat KC. But I see them back next year. Hopefully, I think they'll get to the Super Bowl, and I think Green Bay will get there.
Hey,
We got
we
two
agree
Green
on
Bay
half.
guys.
We agree on half.
I want Texans Green Bay, like you said, but I think
It's happening.
Man.
It's
What you
probably a
got,
really bad
non-believer?
take.
I'm gonna change your name to non-believer.
It's not being a non-believer. It's just right now, it's hearsay, you know?
It
It's
is
just
100%.
it's what are we feeling?
What
I
this
mean,
is what we want. The
shouldn't
other ones were what
shouldn't I
were we
just
feeling?
go off of the colors of the Super Bowl logo next year? Because that's what
Not anymore.
apparently everybody was doing this year.
Mm-hmm.
It's like y'all are dumb. Like, come on.
That's why we didn't
Y'all
air the
gotta
last
stay off the
episode.
internet. Y'all need to go touch grass.
It's all dead, man.
It's all dead.
It's been cold for a bit.
Man, you know what? See, the thing is, there's a lot of teams that I think are going to be a lot better.
Like the
A
Panthers?
team that I think that can really, due to the OC change, I think can really, if there's not something wrong with the quarterback that I think there is, but I think the Eagles can really bounce back. I really do. I think that offensive coordinator. Now, there's two things. Hear me out. There's two things, right? One, Jalen Hurts is dying in some way, and we just don't know it yet. He's super hurt, and we just don't know it yet. Or that offensive coordinator is brain dead. If we're erring on the side of it just being a bad offensive coordinator, I think the Eagles are in position to really have a really good run at it next year. So I guess I'll go them NFC. I guess I'll go Eagles. And then, you know what? Ravens and Eagles Super Bowl next year. Birds, baby. Birds.
Yeah.
Birds.
How much caw do you think is going to happen in the stadium?
I want to just.
You
really
invited me to this, right?
He's like, you wanted this. Okay. Anything else football?
No, that's about it.
Okay. So I want to real quick. I understand that I'm not talking to a super highly populated audience when I talk about the UFC, but there is a card this Saturday. So in a couple days now, it's Doladies versus Imavov. So, I mean, you got to really watch UFC to know those two guys. I'm going to give y'all a 5-pick parlay that's at plus 239 or 2,309, and $50 wins you $1,154. Okay, 5 legs, nothing complicated, just straight winners. Okay, y'all listen here. Okay, now some of these names are a nightmare, so please forgive me.
Can you spell each and every last name out for us?
So we got Azat Maxim over Charles Johnson as winner number 1. I have Zhang Yong Lee over Blake Builder, Asian sensation. Okay. I got underdog Drew Dober over Hanato Moicano. Underdog Drew Dober over Hanato Moicano. I got Elias Cobb Kizriev over Muradov. And then I got in the main event, I got underdog Roman Doladies versus Nazardine Imavov. Those 5. So Maxim, Doladies, Kizriev, Dober, and Yong Lee. Those 5, parlay them, 50 wins you $1,154. That's my parlay going into Saturday. I already got 50 on it. So
I might do it just because I trust you.
I got 50 on it. Now I could get them all wrong, and that's just the name of the game. But I'm so excited. The fights have been going on for what seemed like weeks now. So my Saturdays have been filled with playing video games with my wife, which I'm not complaining about.
Let's remind our viewers what card is that, and then when is UFC 299 and UFC 300 is a big spectacle to look out for, right?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. No, it's super good.
Or listeners, I guess nobody's looking at us.
Yeah, no. I 299, there's been some UFC 299 has been some there's been some debacles and some misreporting that have came out where Dustin Poirier said he was fighting and then said he wasn't fighting, but he's fighting.
Oh, so the
The
not fighting is the misreporting.
Oh yeah, it was a misunderstanding.
Interesting.
They're fighting. You will understand as someone that's not a fan of UFC or doesn't have a lot of exposure to it. They are the worst PR trained league in the world. They will announce stuff that's not real, that's not true, and they just have no PR training like other
Gotta get
professional leagues
clicks.
do. They just say like Conor McGregor gets on Twitter or whatever, X, whatever it's called, and he announces fights every other day and they're not real. They're not happening. He just says it and people are like, "Oh my god." And he's just bullshitting. And because I think he's high out of his mind. But yeah, no, I don't want to get too much into UFC in our early tenure because for one it's a card barely anyone's going to watch, but I will for sure be watching. But again, 5-guy parlay, just 5 winners, nothing complicated. Maxim, Doladies, Kizriev, Dober, Yong Lee. Those 5 win. 50 gives you over 1,100. Um,
Let's go.
that's what I'm talking about. Quick and easy. That's the
Nice.
name of my game. Colby, you want to go over some golf stuffs?
Yeah. So this is
I'm taking
DraftKings.
this bet. I'm taking it too. So I'm writing it down. So please don't be
So,
wrong.
so the Pebble Beach program's going on right now, and the first day was today, and I believe it's a 4-day tournament. And like I said, the first day was today. So this lineup will be based off for tomorrow. It's called a showdown. You don't bet on who's going to win the entire thing. You bet on who is going to outperform who that certain day. Like if they have the highest amount of birdies that day, then they get the most points. So you guys kind of with me with that? It's not based
I'm
off of who
with
wins the
you.
whole thing, who's good for that day. So I don't have a rhyme or reason. I kind of have rhyme or reason for why I'm picking these guys, mostly just because I like them. But this lineup is it's 6 golfers. This is for a PGA Showdown 200K pitch. So your first place gets 50 grand, second place gets 50 grand, or 20 grand, third
I
place
could
gets
use
10 grand.
50
It's
grand.
just a big one. Yeah. So paid out. This is a $20. uh, first through 2,766 get paid. So if you get to at least better than 2,766, you get paid.
Let's get it.
So this is the lineup that I'm going with. Like I said, this is just people that I like. I'm going with Victor Hovland. He's my favorite golfer out right now. I think he's one of the best, if not the one of the best, if not the best. And you got Scotty and you got Rom, but I'm a big Hovland fan, and that's just who I go with.
Hovland, Victor Hovland.
Victor Hovland, and
Got it.
he's tied for 14th right now. And we got Justin Thomas. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard Justin Thomas. I don't know if you have, Chandler, but
I think he's my uncle.
yeah, he was on the cover of 2K21.
Adopted uncle, right?
No, I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Justin Thomas, he's been playing really good lately. He finished really strong in the last tournament, so I'm picking him for that reason.
I'm going.
Brian Harmon. Brian Harmon's my next golfer. He's Mr. Wagglesworth. He's the guy that sits at the ball and he waggles his club like 10 times before he hits it. But he's a grinder. He's a really good iron player. He's good with the wedges and he's also good with the putting.
That's where you
I
win
like
the game.
Yes, I like Denny McCarthy. I've been picking him lately in my lineups, and he has been doing decent. He hasn't been doing the best, but he's that guy that's going for 7,500 salary. And mind you, forgot to say this is a salary-based pick.
DraftKings. Yep.
Yeah, DraftKings. So the higher profile, the higher the number.
More expensive.
And
Yep.
Denny McCarthy is going for 7,500, so he's in that 7.
You got to have your value picks.
Yeah. So Hovland is at 10.3, Justin's at 9.5, Harmon's at 77. McCarthy is at 75, and my other golfer, I got 2 more left, is Sahit Theegala. I think it was two tournaments before this last one, he finished second, and it was off of 1 putt. And He's been playing really good lately. He is going for 7,800. And these last four are kind of my value picks. These are the guys that I think that are going to outperform the guys who are more expensive. So I have, like I said, Brian Harmon at 77, McCarthy at 75, Thigala at 78, and the leader of this tournament right now is a guy who cost 6,600 on the salary cap, and it's Thomas Dietrich. No one expected him to be this good. I think he is sitting at where's he at? Is he at 6,600? He's sitting at dang, Colby at -9, and he's in first place. And I think when you do have players like that who are in the top 5, top 4, rarely do they just fall off the train. Odds are they're going to be playing good golf. They're feeling the course. They have a good outlook on how it's to be played. And I'm not saying he's going to outright win the whole thing, but he is definitely a bargain at 6,600. Right now, you can go get him for 6,600. So those are my guys. I'm picking Hovland, Thomas, Brian Harmon, McCarthy, Thigala, and who's the guy I just said? I totally just lost my train of thought. Dietrich. Thomas Dietrich.
I wrote it down. I'm going with it.
Yeah. Yeah. And with that, you would have 600 remaining in your salary. So if you wanted to, play a guy just because you like his name, you got $600 to play with. So yeah, you're not spending all your salary cap with those names. So you got some wiggle, but that's what I'm going with.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Cole. You smoked that.
Hey.
That was probably my favorite part of what we've done so far. You really,
dude, I winged the shit out of that. I had no what am I going to talk about? I just
Colby, I'm gonna give you a little piece of advice, okay? People need to think we know what we're talking about. Stop saying that you don't know what you're talking about every 2 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Like, people need to think that we know more than the average.
Colby's just like, man.
Colby's like, I just went like this, and I picked.
Well, I didn't do this. I didn't do this. I did this. Yeah.
The camera goes off. Yeah, no, that's solid.
I got a good feeling about those guys.
No, I'm putting it in. So if it's your fault, no matter what,
it's your fault.
All right, guys, we want to transition to baseball, right? We are all gearing up for our fantasy draft. As I mentioned in the intro, Chandler, the 2023 fantasy baseball champion.
Hey, rally caps, let's go.
Oh, you got some old memorabilia.
Yeah, what is
so yeah, no, let's get into it. So we kind of put a plan together. We want to go over kind of how we're feeling about starting pitchers going into, I mean, you can look at it from, we typically look at it from a fantasy standpoint, but you can, if you want to get involved, you can just make any top 5 list how you're feeling. And we've kind of talked about it, and we've put together a top 5 list of pitchers going into next season, and we didn't really kind of have criteria. We just said, go with whatever you're feeling. If you want to make it a who you think the best 5 is going to be, make it that way. If you just want to kind of spice it up. I know me personally, I made my list kind of, I have some dudes that might be in a top 5, but I kind of just made a list of guys that are super solid, that can find their way towards the top of the league in one way or another, but are typically super solid guys. So let's go with Colby. Colby, let's talk about your top 5. I want you to tell me your top 5, kind of give me a reason why each guy, and then kind of go over your criteria. How are you feeling?
So I wrote down 2 top 5s. One is for overall, like who I think the best pitchers are going to be this year, and I wrote a top 5 on people I'm keeping an eye on.
Yep.
I'll run through it real quick. So the best overall pitchers, like I said, 1 and 2 you can kind of flip. It's like, dude, you can set them and forget them. That's a brisket. You can just put it there. Don't have to worry about them.
Yo, are we coming up with merch already? There's no reason for reason, and it's a brisket. It's for sure. We already got quotables.
Let's go.
And
so we're each going to have a shirt that's tailored to us. Chandler's is there's no reason for reason, and Colby's is it's a brisket.
I dig it, son. All right,
let's talk about it.
Yeah. So, all right. So at number 1, I got Garrett Cole. He is the only pitcher on this list that has single-digit rankings. Everybody else has at least one double-digit ranking. Does y'all understand that?
Yep.
He's 6th in record, 2nd in ERA. He's 5th in strikeouts, and he's number 1 in the WHIP. You got Spencer Strider at 2nd. He's the most winningest pitcher in the league, 20-5. He had a 3.86 ERA though. Not bad. He was ranked 27th in that aspect. 281 strikeouts. Holy crap! First, right? And he had a 109 WHIP. Luis Castillo's at 3. He's one of my favorite pitchers. I love watching that guy. He went 14-9 last year, 3.34 ERA, 219 strikeouts, and a 1.1 WHIP. Corbin Burns is my number 4. He had a rough start last year, but he turned it on mid-season, and bam, he was just like regular old Corbin Burns. Number 5 is Zach Wheeler. I don't really know a whole lot about him. I'm going to go ahead and say that. But he went 13-6 last year. He was 13th. 3.61 ERA, 212 strikeouts, and 1.08 WHIP. I got 2 on the outside of that. I could have easily put them in with Zach Wheeler. I would have put Kevin Gossman and Blake Snell. Those are the 2 guys that I would put in. Zach Wheeler, you can kind of just throw them together. So, guys, I'm going to keep an eye on this year. Guys, I'm going to have definitely going to have an eye on is Grayson Rodriguez.
Yeah.
He is a young cat. He was a rookie last year, went 7-4, 4.35 ERA, 129 strikeouts, and a 1.3 WHIP. I think he looks good throwing the ball. Dude is a beast. I like the way he throws. I think he's going to have a lot more strikeouts this year. And plus he's playing for the Orioles, and I think the Orioles are a team to watch out for this year, even though they were a team to watch out for this past year. I think they're going to be even better than they were. Grayson Rodriguez. I don't know if number 2 is such a big oh my gosh, you really that guy? Zach Eflin. Zach Eflin went 16-8 last year. He had a 3.5 ERA and he had 186 strikeouts and a 1.02 WHIP. I'm looking for that guy. If he's out there, I'm probably going to pay for him. Chandler. Number 4 is Eduardo Rodriguez. He went to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Better team than the Detroit Tigers. That's enough for me to go ahead and say I think he's a beast. This is basically just saying, hey, this is a badass pitcher, and he's going to a better team, equaling more wins. I think he's going to get more wins. He had a 3.3, 143 strikeouts, 1.15 WHIP. This number 5 is probably my favorite pitcher. I'm sorry, am I going too fast? Am I going too slow?
You're good.
I think you're going perfect.
Okay. Sonny Gray, number 5. I thought he started off the season awesome, throwing up 40 burgers, just striking people out. He went 8-8 last year. He had a 2.79 ERA. That's 3rd in the league. Would you say that the Cardinals are better than the Twins?
I think the Cardinals have it all falls on Jordan Walker, to be honest. If Jordan Walker, if he can, the dude, I think extra base hit galore with him. If he can play every single game, because they took it easy with him. They really turned it on towards the end of the season with Walker, but if he can be an everyday player and he can crank those extra base hits, I think why not? Why not the Cardinals?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I like the Cardinals. I like their defense. Arenado, Goldschmidt, those guys, what are they, 2 and 3 in that batting order, I believe. But yeah, I like the Cardinals, always have. But yeah, back to the top 5. Sorry. So that was my number 5. But I have 2 other ones, and I'm pretty sure Chandler is going to say these 2. I'm just going to go ahead and say their names, and I'm going to let him off of what I say right here because I know he's going to have some stats. These are probably one of my favorites, or 2 of my favorites to actually look out for is Justin Steele from the Cubs and Kyle Bradish from the Orioles. I think both of them are top 5 quality. I think they can both be top 5 pitchers in the top 5. Those are the 2 guys that I would probably look for. And my dark horse is Yuri Perez from the Miami Marlins.
I love him. He's on my team right now.
Love that.
Yep. Strikeout.
He's got some nasty stuff.
Yeah.
And
Blake Snell too. Blake Snell, where the hell does he go? I don't know. If he goes to a good team, then that's even better for him because he's already a top 5 pitcher, or at least a top 5 pitcher in my opinion.
So I think I'll go next because I think I'm the only one here with one top 5 list. I think everyone else has multiple. So I'm just gonna get mine out the way because I'm sure Chandler has a lot more dialogue than me. Um,
Maybe.
my top, I tried to do a mixture of both. I tried to be guys that um maybe are not 1 and 2, but could be 7 and 8 that I could see cranking their way into the top 5. Talked about it on our practice pod. George Kirby, that's my guy. You know, he has the best walk per nine in the league, 0.9. Like what? Uh, 3.35 ERA going into only his third season in the majors. 25 years old. He's fourth in the league in pitches per inning and has the best strikeout to walk ratio. Like, come on now. Big fan of his. Colby said this guy, so I'm not going to say too much. Zach Wheeler also on my list. He was third in the league in quality starts, sixth in walks per nine, 12th in strikeouts per nine. I think he's going to have a better ERA than 3.61. I do. So not going to say too much. Another one that is on my list that Colby also said, Kyle Bradish. And the one thing that really sticks out to me, he only allowed a 215 batting average.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. And I think he's second to last, only allowed 14 home runs all season. Like that's super impressive.
Yeah, pretty
So
incredible.
that's my 3. Logan Webb I don't need to say. What else do I need to say? Just probably one of the most put together guys. And a guy that I mentioned also in our practice squad, Tyler Glass now. I think him Dodgers are going to win a lot of baseball games, and I think he's the hit with his age and the stuff that he has with that winning ball club. Man, I mean, it's especially if you're looking at it from a fantasy standpoint, those wins, those quality starts, and a guy that maybe I'm a little biased here, but considering if the Rangers can't re-sign Montgomery, I think Nathan Eovaldi is forced to be the ace of the Rangers. And we all know that the offensive power is not going anywhere, especially with the Rangers having a solid farm system. I definitely think that Eovaldi, if they can't bring back Montgomery, which we don't know where the shoe's going to fall on that one, I definitely think that Eovaldi, if he can stay healthy, I know injuries is a big question with him. Last 2 years, he's had his string of injuries, but played super well in the playoffs, and he will kind of be forced in a situation to where if everyone was healthy on the Rangers, I think he'd fall in the 3, but I think he's forced to be the ace, especially if they can't bring back Montgomery. So you're going to get a lot of innings, and there's going to be a lot of reliance on him. And with that offensive power that the Rangers have, I think he can win a lot of ball games too. So that's my honorable mention. So that's it for me. What you got, Chan man?
I love both of them, and this might run a little long because I do have a lot to say.
Look,
but
ISO. Look, I'm chilling.
yeah, ISO. Yeah. So I mean, let's feel free to cut whatever we need to cut. But for you listeners out there, my top 5 is our league is a head-to-head basic standard format points league, right? And so this top 5 came from you go to your league and you hit top 5, right?
This is the champion speaking, by the way.
It's the standard, right? There are 2 individuals on this top 5 that I think do not belong, and then we'll go through my top 5, right? So Spencer Strider, just based on points, number 1. Garrett Cole, Kevin Gausman, Zach Wheeler, Luis Castillo, right? Personally, I think Zach Gallen is going to be the number 1 pitcher in the entire league. I think he was Clip it. Yeah, he was 4th starting pitcher at the end of last season. If you do not include Shohei, he was 5th. If you include Shohei, I think he was literally 3 games, maybe 2 games away from being the best pitcher last season. I think he pulls it through this year, and Arizona's going to be even better. I think the only thing they were lacking last year was confidence, and this year they for sure got it. Garrett Cole stays at 2 in my mind. Spencer Strider goes from 1 to 3. I bumped Luis Castillo up from 5. He's now at 4, and I have him tied with Kodai Senga from the Mets. I think they both. I would not be surprised. I would not be surprised if they put up equal points or within 2 or 3 of each other. Right. Number 5, I took Zach Wheeler off the list entirely. Number 5, I've got a tie between Justin Steele and Zach Wheeler's counterpart, Aaron Nola. I think there's Aaron Nola bounce back season. He was a monster 2 years ago. Zach Wheeler stepped up last season and kind of carried the rotation. It's Nola's turn again. He also just signed that massive contract so he can stay in Philly, right? Starting pitchers to keep an eye on outside of the top 20. My metric, Tariq Skubal was 20, right? So we're not talking about him, okay? Unfortunately, Colby and Brandon, I got nothing on Kyle Bradish because I knew y'all were going to put him on there. He's definitely on my radar. He's definitely on my radar, but I knew he was going to be on y'all's radar, right? With bumping up Justin Steele to 5 from his like 26th position or whatever, he's definitely number 1 outside the top 20 on my radar. Tanner Bibby, or Beebe, however you want to say his last name, Cleveland Guardians. Shane Bieber's old news. Tanner Beebe is new news. Anybody that can come in their rookie season and put up a sub-3 ERA is definitely worth keeping an eye on, even if it goes up to like 3.15 towards the end of the season. I don't care. And then lastly, outside that top 20, Eduardo Rodriguez. For the exact same reason Zach Galen's my number 1, that pitching coach is unbelievable at Arizona. And I think we're going to see a side of Eduardo Rodriguez that we've never seen before in Detroit. We had him missing games in Detroit because he didn't agree with AJ Hinch or whoever their manager was. He'd literally take personal leave in the middle of the season and just say, I'm out of here. I don't really want to listen to anybody right now, right? I also did a little bit extra. I've got a flop in the top 20, and then I've got a hidden gem in the top 80. Right? My flop in the top 20 is Pablo Lopez. Hate that guy. Nothing against him. I just don't think.
I hate that guy. Nothing against him.
Think he's good as his numbers show. He had a record number of strikeouts last season, but the season prior, he was a mid 700s guy. And to project him for closer to 900 this year, in my mind, is like preposterous. I wouldn't be surprised if he got injured, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he had a career low in quality starts, which is kind of where this guy makes his money. So see him. I'm gambling that he might push 700 points, like high 600s, but I don't think he passes that crest. And then if y'all haven't taken a look yet, I'm flopping every single Colorado pitcher. Like, do not.
I didn't even look.
Play them.
I didn't even look.
I don't care if they're away at the pitcherist-friendly ballpark in the MLB. I am astounded by their starting rotation. I'm sorry for the fans because your offense isn't that great either, and so I just feel bad for them. The only team I have that's going to rival how poor their starting rotation is going to be is the Los Angeles Angels, but we'll get to that in a second. My hidden gem in the top 80, Brian Bello. Red Sox. Mm-hmm. Dude struggled a little bit towards the end of last season, but my goodness, in the heart of the season, if he wasn't the most consistent pitcher in the league, I don't know, for free, by the way, off the waiver wire, I don't know who was, right? I went through all 30 teams and calculated, their starters and who's actually got salt worth their worth and all that good stuff. Obviously, you got Arizona up there, you got Atlanta up there. My number 1 rotation going into this season is Seattle. I think they already have 3 stars out of their top 5. And then let me pull up names so I'm not an idiot. I think if Bryce Miller and Brian Wu perform like they did at the height, of the season last year, you're not going to catch this team on a bad pitching day. It's terrifying to me. I mean, we can go through it. Luis Castillo, Logan Gilbert, George Kirby, Bryce Miller, Brian Wu. I don't know where you catch a break with them. It just doesn't happen. And then with Texas, I've got Gray, Eovaldi, or Heaney can all be the guy. Any single one of them. Just because y'all brought it up as well, I wanted to touch it. But
don't sleep on the sex symbol, Dane Dunning. Dunning.
I'm literally taking a nap.
He's a sex symbol.
Yeah.
Those glasses do something for me.
Yeah. And then the only thing that rivals Colorado and Angels rotation would be Washington. Wouldn't play them either, but at least they have a better defense. So that's my rundown of the starting pitchers. Again, can't touch Tariq Skubal because he's right there at the 20 mark. Keep an eye out, man. Keep an eye out. Play this back during your draft because a lot of these people should not go for what they're worth or what they're going for, and get them anyway.
Well, it sounds like there's about 3 or 4 guys that we're all gonna fight over.
I'm gonna at least make you pay.
Hey, look, this little like guru thing. I get that you won last year, okay, and I respect it. This like low key guru thing that you have when you do these drafts, like it didn't work for you in football, okay?
No, and it hasn't. It hasn't since I got into baseball. I'll be honest with you. But I've had top 3 drafts all 4 years of playing baseball.
Chandler
So
can like no one could he could not pick for like 30 rounds and be like, I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried about it.
if you're doing a salary cap, absolutely,
He's like, I'm not worried about it.
absolutely.
Jet Brad Pitt. Just,
Colby's a name that I really can't get out of my head is Perez, like what Colby said. I think
Fury, yeah.
man, he's on my team now, and just anybody who's on my team, I try to catch as much games as I can. Shout out ESPN Plus. But he has a curveball from hell. It's
Or
something
heaven,
else.
however you want to look at it.
Wow,
That
like
thing is
it's
beautiful, dude.
that thing is. He has got when they say stuff,
Yeah.
he's got the stuff, man.
Yep.
oh yeah. When I was going to like Louisiana and stuff, and I was betting in DraftKings and stuff like that, and this was when like they first started using Yuri Perez, and no one really was kind of knowing what he was and what he was going to be. And obviously, I was in fantasy baseball, so I kind of knew about him. And then once he started getting starts, they had him at like 4.5 for strikeouts. I'm like, ding, 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 ding,
What?
ding.
He's gonna get that.
Yeah,
He's gonna get that in 2 innings.
Like strikeouts.
Yeah, two innings. One inning if he could.
But yeah, the dude, like you said, Brandon, he's got the stuff, and
That's man. It's all
he
gonna
stays
come.
healthy. Sorry to cut you. If he stays healthy and they keep him in that rotation, I think he's going to be something to watch. He's going to be pretty special.
It's definitely gonna come down to his control. Can he? It's first pitch strikes. Can he find the zone early on? I think if there's I mean, he's so young, so who cares what his downfall is right now? But I think he could lose a couple, and then when you get out of it, it's hard to get back into it.
The big downfall was last year, right? Because he was never intended to pitch 6 innings. They brought him up never intending to pitch 6 innings a game. And so because he went through his workload so quickly, they had to send him back down. They couldn't overwork him because they know how good he is. Like we all know how good he is, But this year is their year to look out for him. I don't think they'll let him stretch to 7 or 8 quite yet, but give me the quality start, baby. I don't care. 6 and out, go.
Yeah, if he can find that zone early on, we're having a conversation. I really think so.
There's one. I mean, this is kind of just throwing a sheet in the wind. But there's a pitch. It's a pitcher that I had high hopes for last year, and I don't know if it was because he was injured and that kind of played into why he didn't pan out the way he did. But Hunter Green, that guy like throws 102 like every single time.
Nasty.
And when he got hurt, and I'm like, well, what the hell do I do with him? And then he came back, and it's just like he never got a groove after he got injured. It's like that was one pitcher who I thought was going to be really, really good and had the stuff like Yuri Perez, and he's throwing hard. I don't know if I trust him this year. He's one of those guys where I'm like, well, I might have kept him in my league, but knowing the uncertainty of if him getting hurt plays such a big role in how he actually plays this year, I don't know if I'm going to invest in him anymore. I think I'm just going to kind of throw him out to see what everybody else does and have somebody else pay, more money for him, because I don't think I can put the money to him today.
I think it makes you think, was he really, did he ever really come back healthy?
That's the thing. You don't know.
It reminds me of a dude I kept, Tristan McKenzie.
Yep.
That's a dude I kept. And he just never he got hurt in spring training, and that was it.
Cincinnati starting rotation is definitely something to keep an eye on.
Oof, yes.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to. That's what I was going to comment on. If Hunter Green's going to get it right, he's on the team to get it right on, right?
Yep.
Like that squad's going to be really good.
Who's the outfielder that's really fast over there?
De La Cruz.
He's
a shortstop, though.
He's a shortstop? Okay, my fault.
Third baseman?
Yeah, De La Cruz.
Might be double eligibility.
That guy was nuts to
Fastest
watch.
time home to home
Ellie,
ever.
Ellie.
Isn't he the fastest time home to home ever? Like,
Something like
Around the bases, I think
yeah,
so. I don't think
fastest
I don't
ever.
think O'Neal Cruz ever got a inside the park home run, and Ellie De La Cruz did.
Yeah.
So
just got the
that'd be about
gist.
it.
Speaking of O'Neal Cruz, this is just if y'all don't have the brain power, and y'all
That's
perfectly
another
fine.
name.
But if any guys coming off of injury, pitcher, batter, wherever, coming off of injury that you want to take a flyer on, that guy you would like to invest in, maybe throw a couple shillings his way, maybe pick him up off waiver wire. Is there a guy off of injury that, because I'll start since I brought it up. Hoskins to the Brewers.
I love that. I
Come on,
absolutely
man.
love Hoskins to the
The
Brewers. But
Milwaukee
what happens to
Brewers.
Rowdy Telez?
The
What happens,
Milwaukee
man?
the Milwaukee Brewers desperately need power in their lineup. Willie Adames way down last year, way down. I learned that the hard way.
KKK.
So
Yeah.
I think definitely Hoskins going to Milwaukee. If he can hit at 75% of what he was doing for Philly, I think we're on to something there. Because that team's got some youngsters. That team's got some youngsters that can play.
I like what Milwaukee's got going.
I know. I mean, they're a fun team to invest in if you're going to. I'm not saying championship. I'm not saying World Series, right? But that he adds that veteran power that I think he can have a similar season to what George Soler was for Miami.
Yeah, and the only downside of Milwaukee to me is the loss of Brandon Woodruff
That's
in
tough.
their rotation, because now it's Corbin Burns, Freddie Peralta, and that's the only downside. But I love the Reese Hoskins move to Milwaukee. Literally, my only question after that was what happens to Rowdy, and I guess he'll just be their DH in the four hole. You know,
You can't have enough hitters.
that's true. That's true. I had my guy for you because it was going to be off the cusp.
Yeah, I know. We didn't research this. This was just on
Yeah,
my
yeah,
brain.
yeah. Hold on. He was right there. He's on the first page. I still like Vinny Pascantino.
There you go. That's Colby's dude from last year.
Yeah.
Yep. And I told Colby to pick him. I was like, yo, this guy's on the waiver. You can pick him up, keep him for free.
Oh,
Chandler,
that's exactly what he
Chandler's
did.
trying to take credit for stuff. Let's do it.
Oh,
Okay.
No, no,
take it
no,
because
no.
I didn't
Yeah.
have any
Colby's
idea
like,
who
who's this
his name
dude?
was.
He was slated for
Fucking
706.
Jersey Shore.
Yeah, he was slated for Jersey Shore.
Fuck is a Pascatino? Oh yeah,
What
he's
the
just that guy.
fuck's
Oh,
a
that's
Pascatino?
Yeah. No, I think he'll come back. He did some great things at the start of last season. I think it's a damn shame that he went out for the whole season. But that I wouldn't sleep, like that Kansas City rotation isn't any good, but I would not sleep on those Kansas City hitters. It's only a matter of time before MJ Melendez figures it out. You got Bobby Witt, probably going to be a 30 for 30 player, or 30 and 30 player next season. And you got
I was about to say he's gonna
Pascantino at
have a
first
30
base.
for 30.
Maybe by the end of his career, he might have a 30 for 30.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. They'll look at him like Ricky Bobby, like, you got two first names, you know? Are you
Bobby quit. You got to do it with the flim. Bobby
with
quit.
Yeah, or the Family Guy with the wheat thins.
Yeah.
Bobby quit.
No. Yeah, I think when he went down, I think they kind of saw where the season was going, and they're like, you know what?
Yeah, it was rough.
Rest up. You know.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Get right.
So I got another player that I want to know what y'all think about, and I'm pretty sure y'all are going to think highly of this guy. It's like, ooh, where does he go? Is Cody Bellinger?
Ooh,
Where did that guy? Like, what happened to that guy? He was over there smoking weed in L.A.
Stay
and then
off
to
the weed.
Cubs, and he's just phenomenal, just out of
So-
nowhere.
the only reason I left Blake Snell off of any one of my lists is because he doesn't have a home right now. Right, hard to say how good he's actually.
Yeah,
gonna
same,
be
right?
without a
I'd
home.
have to see same thing with Jordan
Yeah.
Montgomery, another really good guy. I have to
Yeah.
see where
Yeah.
you're gonna go.
That's how I feel about Bellinger too. Until he has a home, which I think the Cubs should re-sign him. I don't see any reason why they shouldn't. I'm very high on the Cubs defense. The middle of their
Cubs got
infield
a
is
good squad.
outstanding. Their outfield is outstanding. We're just, the only thing I'm worried about is their pitching staff. But we'll see we'll see how that shakes out because Steele's the only name that they got really
Where's
going on.
Steele?
No, I
Yeah.
mean,
He's alone. Stroman's gone. So that 1-2 punch they had last season ain't happening.
Where'd Stroman go?
New York. No, yeah, New York. Yeah, he's playing with
he
Soto.
said no.
Yankees.
Yeah. No, I think Bellinger. You know what? I'll throw out a crazy name for Bellinger. Him in Toronto would be something interesting, wouldn't it?
Oh yeah, dude.
Where would he go?
But here's the thing, Toronto, because I think about these teams that were in the Shohei sweepstakes, right? The Giants were in the Shohei sweepstakes. All these teams, right?
Can
I
we hot
think
take it real quick?
hot take it, go.
Giants #1 strikeout team in the MLB next season.
I don't
They were,
like
weren't they last year?
your hot takes are so specific. I don't
They
even
were
know
3.
if your hot takes are so specific. I don't even know if they're hot takes.
They were 3 last year. Minnesota was 1 last year.
Yeah, any pitcher that was pitching against those guys, them and the Twins. The Twins struck out a lot too.
Yeah, Minnesota was top, then Oakland.
Anybody pitching against Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah. You got Schwarber up there. You got 3 strikeouts.
That's 3 Ks, man. That's an automatic 3 Ks. And he was leadoff too.
1 point, 3 strikeouts, and a home run.
Dude. Yes. Dude.
That's rough.
No, but Bellinger to the Blue Jays is something else.
I mean, you got Vlad at first base. You got Varsho in the outfield. They picked up Turner, which I think is a nice one. You got George Springer in right. And then it depends if they're running back Kevin Cormier in center. Because he's a defensive stud. My guy just can't play offense.
I'm just saying. I'm saying take a flyer.
Take a flyer.
Take a flyer is all I'm saying.
I think he stays put.
You think he stays put?
I think it'd be really wise of the Cubs to have him stay put.
But at this point, I feel like in a situation like the Cubs and Bellinger, I don't think they want to lose him. I think it's Bellinger.
They just don't want to spend on him.
Well, it's also Bellinger when you have I'll say a kid's term, what the youngsters say. The Cubs were mid towards the last season. Like it was just, you looked at the Cubs, I thought they had it early on to middle. I thought they had it. I'm a big Dansby Swanson guy, but towards the end, you're just kind of like, I guess nothing really puts them over the top. I think if Nico can turn the page, we're on to something. And you're right. Why would you want to lose Bellinger? But I think there's more to it than that. I think Bellinger might want to go back to a Dodgers type situation where, they're winning a lot of games. And
where he can get deferred his contract?
I don't even want to
get his contract deferred.
Oh my God! I was gonna say something so controversial, but
do it.
No,
do it, bro.
You'll see why when we stop recording. I'll tell you why. Does anybody have anything that's near and dear to their heart that they want to share? We feel like we got it out.
I'm excited. That was good.
I feel good.
That was pretty
all right,
decent.
guys. We're gonna sign off. This is the 2023 World Series champion of fantasy baseball, Chandler. The TikTok golf sensation, short stuff. Like, it doesn't get better than that.
And also runner up.
Runner up. Yeah, we had to be in the championship.
I mean, I didn't know if you wanted me to throw that in there. I don't know if that's even
fine.
like a consolation prize. But I was also in the playoffs. But
well, we don't really miss.
Team playoff managers here, all right?
So
I was second in football.
Yep.
I played Lamar Jackson when he had his 5 touchdowns against the Dolphins. So
I wanted to text you, "Welcome to the Buffalo Bills."
So, hey guys, we are the Wide 80 Podcast.